Good morning, everybody. Let's talk about suicide, self-harm, and pain. My name is David Balogh, and I'm a Doctor of General Medicine, and I'm a third-year PhD student. Here, my vision is to gain more information about the background of suicidal and self-harming behavior, and my mission is to explore what are the risk factors in a person's life which tend them to attempt suicide or self-harming behavior. Here's the overview of my project. My PhD contains right now 4 projects, 2 meta-analyses, 1 registry analysis, and a qualitative study. My first project, which is the investigation of the risk factors for suicidal behavior in patients with borderline personality disorder. First of all, what is borderline personality disorder, or BPD? BPD is a mental illness that severely impacts the person's ability to manage their emotions. This loss of emotional control can increase impulsivity, affects how a person feels about themselves, and it's negatively impact their relationships with others. Suicide is one of the most dangerous outcomes of this pathological condition. Around 70% of these patients attempt suicide at least once in their lifetime, and around 10% actually complete it. So our clinical question was, what are the increasing risk factors for suicidal behavior among patients with BPD? Here you can see the details of my systematic research. And together we wanted to examine 11 risk factors, but at the end we find 4 of them feasible, like age, sex, comorbid depression status, and the personality trait impulsivity. Here you can see my forest plot. In the first case, in the case of age, it is quite an the age is very important, because the clinical experience is that the severity of this illness mitigate during time, and the effect size, so we were handling about with odds ratios, and as you can see in the case of age, the odds ratio is 1.04, so we didn't find it nor clinically nor statistically very significant. In the case of sex, it's different. The overall odds ratio was around 1.5. So if borderline patient is a female, then she has 1.5 times higher chance to attempt suicide at least once in her lifetime. In the case of depression, it's not very surprising, because depression on its own can lead to suicidal behavior. So of course, if someone is suffering from both, so depression and borderline personality disorder, it makes the chance of suicidal behavior much more higher. The overall odds ratio was around 3.6, and we also investigated the personality trait impulsivity. We find the overall odds ratio of 1.2. So if a patient has this impulsivity personality trait, it elevates the risk of attempt suicide. This is the progress of my first project. I'm almost finished the discussion part and the abstract part with my manuscript. Right now I'm working on that with my supervisor, and our target journal is Current Psychiatry Reports. Okay. About my second project, which is the investigation, the connection between the female cycle and the borderline symptoms. This is the progress of my project. Right now, we are writing the ethical approval of it. Why is it an important topic? Because around 3/4 of the clinical population with BPD are mainly women, and menstruation is often associated with psychological symptoms. And the question is, how is this interfere with BPD symptoms? We're also focusing on sleep quality in this study because clinical experience is that bad sleep quality can lead to psychological symptoms, and the question was how these symptoms interfere with BPD symptoms. And to do that, we are going to use an experimental sampling method, smartphone application. Okay. About my first project, it's the impact of emotion dysregulation on pain perceptions in individuals with BPD, or how does emotion dysregulation influence the so-called pain paradox. What is the background of the emotion dysregulation? According to Linehan's biosocial theory, individuals with BPD are emotionally sensitive from birth, and this sensitivity leads to a propensity to experience negative effects across context and situations, which then makes it difficult to learn appropriate emotion regulation strategies. This deficit in appropriate regulation strategies likely contributes to a tendency to engage in dysregulated behavior in order to manage and reduce negative effect. And this four-component process results in negative consequences, which in turn reinforce the emotion sensitivity. And what is the pain paradox? Patients with borderline personality disorder reports relative absence of acute pain. So in contrast to the control group, they feel the acute pain much less. And in contrast, BPD is overrepresented among chronic pain patients. So we suggest that they experience a relative excess of chronic pain. So our question was, how does emotion dysregulation influence the pain perception? And this will be the details of our systematic research. This is a quite new idea from our, and it is currently under discussion. Yeah, so, and thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer your questions now.
No, actually, I don't have a question. I have several comments. So first of all, I want to congratulate. I liked your English. It was pretty good. I didn't like the way how you presented your topic. You were reading, at least that was my impression, that you were reading everything on your monitor. I didn't like that. So I think that next time you should at least try to convince me that you are the best in the room regarding this topic. Most likely you are, but you didn't really convince me. My other comment is that I didn't understand the topic selection, or the selection of several topics, which I guess a bit related to each other. But I think that the most important topic, at least for me, was basically like a non-professional in this topic, that the suicidal behavior. And I think that there are a lot of questions in that topic you can investigate. So why did you jump into a second topic and a third topic? why the first topic is a really good one, which I think it's probably number one healthcare problem in this country, as well as in the others. So that's what I didn't really understand.
Thank you very much. Yes, I indeed should have elaborate the connection of my topics.
But at least I didn't get it for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you are at the very beginning, and next time you will be able to convince me that it's really important. You got to believe it. Yeah, well, for the topic, but thank
you very much. Good morning. I should like to also congratulate, but as for the quality of the slides, they are okay, but to read from the last row is a little bit difficult to the small letters. The best way, if you use a white background, to use as black.
Sorry, is your mic is on, because I hardly hearing it.
You did not hear me?
No, not. Do you hear?
Okay. So my suggestion, if you use white background, you have to use as black letters as possible, because the contrast and as large that the space allows. Because from the last row it's a little bit difficult to read, I guess. But otherwise, I should like to also join to this opinion that the less topic would have been more to concentrate only one question as suicide.
Okay, thank you. Go, please.
Any questions from the floor? Well, if not, I have specific comments. I can't see any hands. So, Dávid, let's go back to your Forest Plus, please. Because I think the interpretation, with the interpretation, you should be a bit more careful. You have only 3 studies in each domain. Well, you have 4 in one domain, depression. But you have basically non-significant results. So just to tone down in your paper the message. My second comment, I don't understand the not common in NA, not common in NA. So basically, I don't know which way the diamond goes and what these indicators mean, that more common in NA and more common in, so they are the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it a by chance? It's a mistake or?
Yeah. No, it's my fault. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. And finally, even be a bit more specific, the impulsivity. You have a significant data there, but the weight is basically represented in 96% by one study.
paper. Yeah.
So again, you have to be extremely careful when you interpret.
Yes, we are aware of that.
Okay, and on, I think your 4th topic on the background, you didn't have any references. And I'm sure that figure wasn't done by you. You grabbed it from an article.
Yes.
So
I missed it.
give a reference.
Yeah.
I have other comments as well, but by and large, great progress. Good. Any questions? 10 more seconds. Over there. Oh, here.
Sia, thank you for your presentation. I'd like to know about the methodology of your survey. If you are going to include women taking contraceptives or not. Because you could compare those groups as well, even though, for example, in the hormonal contraceptive, they're not having the normal cycle, they are just having escapes. But it would be very interesting to compare those.
Yeah, we're actually planning to make subgroups of that, and one of our hypotheses is that patients who take contraceptives suffer less with their symptoms, and maybe it's maybe it's a good choice for borderline patients to take contraceptives because of that. But this is just our hypothesis. Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask one last question? That you have quite a bit of heterogeneity.
Yes.
Between groups, and this could be a very important issue actually, because in some studies the study alone shows significant difference, why others do not, and then there is a relatively small kind of number of studies. So is there any reason for this? Well, you could figure out.
Yeah, sure. Because so the in the background of heterogeneity is quite different in the different topics, and is that the lots of patients in borderline suffer in different comorbid status, and that makes the results a bit.
Anyway, so what you get is not very final.
Right.
That's important. You gotta be concentrated on priming. David, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.